Makerere University started in 1922 as a humble institution of learning. Then it offered basic courses such as carpentry, building, and mechanics. Steadily, as the country struggled for independence, Makerere University, initially called Uganda Technical College, also grew. Students became consciously aware about the political, economic, and social situation in the country and occasionally raised their voices. By 1949, it had become a university college affiliated to the University College of London, offering courses leading to the general degrees. It was around this period that calls for Uganda's independence were growing louder and more intense. With the establishment of the University of East Africa on June 29, 1963, the special relationship with the University of London came to a close and degrees of the University of East Africa were instituted. On July 1, 1970, Makerere became an independent national university of the Republic of Uganda, offering undergraduate and postgraduate courses leading to its own awards. Like any institution of higher learning, Makerere students would get drawn into political activities. They would stand up against the university authorities and sometimes the government. Today, New Vision TV takes a snapshot at students' protests at Makerere University over the years. During the pre-independence protests, there were some anti-colonial sentiments and riots about student welfare, especially food. At post-independence, they turned political, and in the 2000s, sometimes they were about student welfare, mostly fees and courses blended with politics. But also, there were cases where the students would join the university staff on strike and demonstrate. By August 11, 1952, the discontent had been brewing at the university, and a group of students presented Bernard de Bunsen, the Makerere College principal, with a petition demanding better quality of the food. After a week's ultimatum, the students boycotted meals in protest of the bad food they were being served. They became rowdy and blocked those who wanted to go to the dining hall to eat. On August 20th, the college was closed. On September 19th, it was reopened and 6 ringleaders of the strike were expelled. Among them was Abu Mayanja, who would later emerge as a key figure in Uganda's politics. In August 1976, chaos broke out at Makerere University. Students took to the streets to protest the policies of the Idi Amin government and in particular the killing of their colleagues. The government responded by deploying troops to raid the university. Many students were arrested, tortured, and the female students were raped. In 1981, President Milton Obote banned the Students' Guild following protests by students who believed that the 1980 elections that had brought him into power were rigged. Several were arrested and detained for a while. Some fled the university and joined the National Resistance Army in the Luwero Triangle Bush War under Yoweri Museveni, then a rebel chief. In December 1990, students led by Guild President Norbert Mao rejected a Ministry of Education-imposed Guild constitution. The abolition of allowances also formed the core of the student grievances. Students' demonstration on the campus went on for days, and on December 10th, 2 of them were shot dead by the police. In 1991, students held a strike over the scrapping of students' allowances. On March 4, 1994, a decision by the Sports Administration to award a rugby game award to Mitchell Hall sparked demonstrations. The game had been between Lumumba and Mitchell Halls, and it was assumed that Lumumba had won the game and would take the title. But this was overturned on grounds that the hall had fielded someone who was not registered as a student. On May 10, 1994, students protested the introduction of cost sharing. 5 of them were arrested, which sparked off demonstrations. On October 24, 1996, riots broke out after the name of Northcote Hall was changed to Hall X. Northcote had been closed by the University Council after allegations that its residents had poisoned food meant for Africa and Livingstone Hall's joint celebrations on May 4th. 35 students, including Guild President Remy Stephen Galogitho, were expelled and over 30 others were arrested as riots rocked the university. On December 22, 2000, Makerere University students protested the murder of Roger Mugisha, a 23-year-old student who was stabbed multiple times and his body dumped near the entrance to Nsibirwa Hall. And on February 2nd, 2001, students rioted demanding better security on campus following the death of fellow student Alex Adigaremo. The 20-year-old had been shot by unknown assailants. The murder was the second in 2 months. On April 1st, 2001, a riot broke out after Barbara Mwesigwa, a 22-year-old student, died from her injuries after being shot in her CCE complex room. On November 17, 2003, students protested a non-payment of allowances and the police responded with live bullets to counter the stone-throwing students. In November 2005, the Students' Guild declared a strike to protest the increase of fees for retakes. In November 2006, there was a strike by staff demanding that the government honors a pledge it had made in April 2004 for a salary increment. The cause of the strike was purely related to staff welfare. In November 2007, the university shut down for up to 2 months as lecturers laid down their tools over pay. The students turned rowdy over their failure to study. In September 2011, the university was closed hardly 2 weeks into the new semester after academic staff went on strike to demand better pay and clearance of their pension arrears. For fear of students reacting with their own protests, the administration sent the students home with heavily armed police on standby to quell any violence. On April 24, 2011, over 70 students were injured and 7 were arrested in running battles with security forces after students protested increases in tuition fees. On February 11, 2013, students protested a directive that 60% of tuition must be paid by March 2013. 18 were arrested on the 3rd day of the riots for looting and destroying property at Makerere University and its surroundings. In January 2014, a group of students demonstrated over the omission of their names on the graduation list. And in March 2014, lecturers at the School of Social Sciences laid down their tools in protest of the college system of administration. They also demanded arrears of up to 500 million shillings. On August 1, 2016, non-teaching staff went on strike to demand back pay. The strike lasted 3 weeks and soon the students joined in.
What are they doing? Don't give up! Don't give up! Don't give up! No, we are not good.
On November 1, 2006, Makerere University was indefinitely closed by President Yoweri Museveni after students held a strike over lecturers laying down their tools. It spiraled into violence. On December 22nd of April 2016, 6 Makerere University students, including the guild president Papa Were Salim, were arrested over the protests. Amid heavy police deployment at the campus, the students staged a demonstration over what they called unfair administrative policies following a decision to scrap 32 courses. 38 years later, the strikes continue, and on October 23rd this year, over 30 students were arrested as the army and police on Wednesday foiled a strike by students who were protesting a 15% tuition increment. Yesterday, President Yoweri Museveni ordered for the immediate removal of the army from the university and called for the dialogue between the students' leadership and also the university administration.